Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Pointy Not Sharp. Today we're taking a look at the East German Model 74 bayonet. This is the final installment for my East German AK bayonet little mini series. Now, the exact name of this bayonet is a little bit odd because all of the previous models were named after the year that it was designed, being like Model 59 and what have you. Whether here they've gone 74, not because of the year that it was designed, but the rifle that's made to fit to. So these bayonets were introduced and made to fit the Machine Pistol AK-74 or the MPI-AK-74, and that was East Germany's version of the AK-74. On top of that, it will still fit all of the prior AK rifles, being the AKM style, not the AKs. I should probably clarify. So it'll fit everything that the Model 59 bayonet will fit, not the earlier Model 47 bayonet. I think it's 47, yeah. Anyway, these bayonets were produced from 1985 until 1987 and possibly a little bit longer, but I'm not terribly sure. I don't know who manufactured them, as I said in previous videos, whether it was a state-owned weapons plant or a commercial contract. There's no information that I've been able to find. And likewise, I've got no information into the number made. But I dare say, based on how prolific they are on the collector's market, that a great deal of them were made, because not only do you see these popping up all over the world dirt cheap, but they're also popping up in conflict zones as well, and they're likely being used overseas in Ukraine. Although I think they're getting rid of most of their old crappy Soviet stuff. Anyway, the first version of this bayonet that came out, and they were made to replace the transitionals, but the first version that came out actually had a bright orange, I've heard it called Bakelite grip, but I think it was a just a plastic polyamide or something like that. Some kind of plastic, not Bakelite, even though Bakelite is a plastic. Then the later versions have these black handles. Now, the earlier versions are of a much higher quality. The later versions are a bit rough. There's this one's not too bad, but some of the later ones have really rough machining marks in the blade, so not very well polished. I should also point out that serial number ranges go up to into the 300,000s for these, so that's probably how many were made. But the first ones with the orange grips, they have the lowest serial numbers, and then the black grips like this, they're generally the higher serial numbers. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this style of bayonet, this is what's often referred to as the AKM Type 2 or the 6X4 or 6H4 bayonet. And that was initially a Russian-designed bayonet that pretty much all of the Warsaw Pact countries adopted and made their own versions of. So what we have is a stainless steel blade with a clip-pointed tip, a true edge wire cutter hole, which goes through an attachment here on the scabbard, and used to cut wire like so. We have a sawback on the back of the blade, and you'll note that the blade, when fixed to the rifle, so the muzzle sits here, is pointing upwards, which is a bit different to what everyone else does with bayonets. Then moving down, we've got our crossguard. It's a metal component. It's been painted black, and it's got 2 rivets in. Prior models of this bayonet had the rivets really finely machined, so you couldn't see them, but now you can. We've got a little hook for our retention strap. These Germans like a grey or olive drab retention strap, like this one here, with a aluminium buckle. And then we have our 2-piece plastic grip, and that's just connected in the middle. There's a seam. It's connected via this pin here, so you can actually, if you're careful enough, remove the plastic covers which are melted on and push the pin through and pull it out and replace the blade. It's something I'm planning to do with some of my Ukrainian ones, but the tang of the blade is not connected to the pommel, so if you want to cut electrified wire, you are completely insulated, and it's more than safe to do so, assuming you're not touching that. Moving down to our pommel, the big advantage of a steel pommel like this one is prior versions had a plastic pommel, and soldiers being soldiers were using them to bash in tent pegs or use them as hammers or all other kind of naughty purposes, and they were breaking, and yeah, You've also got your press button for your bayonet catch down here. So if you're breaking this part, you're not going to be able to fix it with your rifle. So definitely a decent update when they did this. So the pommel's just attached in by this big screw here, and then on the reverse, they've just like peened a couple of little holes in either side of the screw to stop it from moving, to effectively lock it in there. And we have our hole for our retention strap down the bottom. So you can find these in a whole range of different colours from different countries. You know, Romania have brown. Hell, most countries have brown. A couple of countries have black. Yugoslavia and East Germany. Russia and Bulgaria and Iraq have really bright, beautiful orange sometimes, and the earlier East German. Jumping down to the scabbard, we've just got our plastic scabbard, same as the transitional video I did prior to this. There is a slight difference in the construction, very, very slight, but I can't spot it. I've read it in a book and I didn't really understand what I was reading, so anyway. A couple of drainage holes. Got our throat up here, and our frog can be removed quite easily. This stays attached to your belt, so you can use this to cut wire. Now I'll jump into what I find to be the interesting part of the video, and that is the markings. Now the markings are pretty much the same as the last video with the transitional bayonet. The major difference is our mold number. So you might remember in the last video I said the number on the left, 2, that is the mold number, and the number on the right, that is the item. So the previous one was 1946/4, that's the transitional scabbard. The M74 bayonet scabbard has the 1976/5. So that's how you tell the difference between the two. Other than that, we just have a couple of inspector's marks, the same as the other one. Circles with letters in them, 1, 2, 3. Sometimes you get the serial number in here in electro pencil. Look at that, I've got 2 of them over here. Top one's been crossed out. That's where you usually find them. Although you often find 3 digits on the back as well. Now remember, if you come across one of these and it has a stamped serial number, it's not East German, it's a Yugoslavian M70 bayonet. Put that down. The frogs, leather, pretty much always going to be painted grey like this. Sometimes they're just the brown, but yeah, that's a typical German one. And markings on the bayonet, again, electro penciled in serial numbers. We've got 1, 2, sometimes you get them in there. Yep, just 2. And then you also get inspector's stamps on the crossguard, but I'm not seeing any here. Yeah, that might be it for the bayonet. But coming in close, you can really see the black paint on that crossguard compared to previous models, which were just blued. So this is very much like the Russian ones, or the how the other countries did it. Anyway guys, sorry that wasn't a terribly long video today. There wasn't a terrible lot to cover off because 2 prior videos on the same run of bayonet, there's not a terrible lot to add on to it. That's all I've got to say. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, and thanks for watching.